Hi, I'm Ibolya Kapta, the Project Director of Women for a Caring World Global Movement. In the following 20 minutes, I'm going to talk with Kingsley L, author, researcher, and a colleague in this movement, who as a man supports and promotes all these visions what we create together, men and women in this movement.
I think it's time for the feminine energy to arise. In these years, we've all been talking about the new birth, a new era, a new epoch is coming. But if we're talking about a new birth, then that is feminine. We can't talk about a new birth without including the feminine essence, the feminine consciousness, because everything around birth is feminine. And we've lived for centuries in a masculine energy, a masculine consciousness. The basis of our science is masculine based. Even in the major religions with the deity in the heavens is masculine based, because it doesn't appreciate the interconnectedness of all life, which is feminine. So if we're moving now towards an interconnectivity of all life, where we see even now we're connecting all across the globe, we're connecting with each other, then this in itself is representing the essence of the feminine energy, the interconnectedness, the interpenetration. These are feminine values. And so if we really want to move forward, we cannot move forward without the feminine energy, without the feminine essence. Otherwise, we're just going to go further and further down the masculine energy, the masculine consciousness, which deals in separation, it deals in duality, it deals in a linear, rational type of energy, which is just not going to work, as we see the world around us. So really to evolve further, we need this, to move from the mind to the heart. We need to move into an energy which is nurturing, which brings all life together in a sacred respect, and that is the essence of feminine energy. So it's essential, and we see it rising in the world now. So my feeling is that it's coming anyway. We just have to see it, we have to embrace it, and we have to work with it. That's what I feel.
What is feminine energy in your understanding? And do you think this is a gender-based phenomena, or is this something more deeper?
I wouldn't say it's gender-based, because again, gender divisions has been categorized and used too much to develop this polarity game, the duality. But I would say that there are aspects of the feminine energy which are more present and more natural in the female. It's almost as if this energy resides in the cellular structure, and the female has a cellular memory of this essence, this wisdom, this energy, and so it can be reconnected to much more organically. But saying that the female energy is within the male as well, and perhaps it's maybe more difficult for a male to reconnect with that, or rather it maybe means going stronger against a male conditioning to bring it out. But it's definitely there, because the male and female energies are within each living creature. They're within all of us. Every male spent more or less 9 months within the womb of their mother. So these energies are interpenetrating. It's just I would feel that it's more within the instinctual cellular memory of the female, and that is important to be reconnected to on the part of the female. On the part of the male, I feel that the male has to reflect more on their conditioning and to see where perhaps the masculine consciousness needs to be put aside a little bit for feminine values to be more present. But definitely they're intermixed, as is the essence of all true energy, because all true energy is one.
I just met a man not long ago, and when he heard about our aims and goals, he was very much agreeing that there is a need for a movement like this, but he even went further and he said that the best thing would be if men would be excluded in some way from decision making. And you know, me as a woman cannot really agree with this, because our purpose is to create a balance and to give space for women and men equally to be partners and to understand each other unique skills and unique colors. And I do not feel that that would be the way forward. What is your thoughts, Kingsley?
I don't feel we have to exclude anything. It's all about inclusion, but to include in harmony and coherence. Perhaps the point that the person was getting at is that we don't need this level of masculine consciousness, masculine energy to be dominant anymore. But to do away with the man or the masculine energy would go into the other extreme. And over time, to have a predominance of feminine energy without a balance with the masculine presence would over time lead to imbalance of the other extreme. And so it wouldn't be helpful at all. So really, we need to move towards a oneness culture, a oneness consciousness, a oneness energy, which incorporates and includes all. It's not about exclusion. But at the moment, perhaps we need to have a focus on the feminine energy at the moment, because purely the masculine energy consciousness is over-dominant. So perhaps we need to put a greater focus on the rising and the presence of the feminine energy consciousness, but not to the exclusion of the masculine, because they need to work together. Again, it's not about duality or exclusion, it's about having a harmonious whole. So we need all the parts. And the masculine energy does play a role. It just has to play a role which is not so dominant and in harmony with the feminine.
We are experiencing very rapid changes in our society, which affects not only the women but also men. How do you think women can help, and how can we support men in order to get through this transition and to reach collaboration and more respect and understanding?
I suppose women can support the men by giving them the space to actually let their feminine values and energies emerge. I think men have a great deal of apprehension and perhaps even fear. But I would say that at this moment, perhaps the support should be to a greater degree on the women and the feminine energy consciousness, purely because it's been overly suppressed for so long that the support needs to nurture its re-emergence. And also because I feel that many women have actually been sucked into the male consciousness to feel that in order to integrate into the dominant cultures, they've had to play the game of the masculine consciousness. And that means suppressing the feminine consciousness. And that also is part of the imbalance. So in order to realign that harmony, I think greater support needs to be on the feminine consciousness right now, not only because our world needs it, needs a great degree of that energy, but also because it has to be brought back from the suppression and allowed to come out. On the other side, when talking about the male energy, I think at this time, many males or all the masculine consciousness will be in fear, purely because just like the old energy in the world today, the power structures, the hierarchical power structures, that's a representation of male consciousness. And those that represent that may feel that they are losing their power, losing their status, and it's fear-based. So really, the masculine consciousness needs to understand that we're moving into a time where, in fact, there's greater empowerment for everyone if we come together. And so there's no loss, there's only gain. And just as the female needs support to find their own space, the masculine energy will need the same. But I feel that by empowering the female consciousness, that can be like a mirror, a reflection to the male, and can re-empower the male in return. But if we over support the men now, we're adhering to focusing on the masculine again. So I would say that we should show a greater focus on the feminine at this time, because the reflection of that will help the masculine consciousness.
How would you define the feminine energy? What is this phenomena in your understanding?
The great feminine energy is very instinctual. It's a knowing which comes from a heart-based bodily knowing. It's not linear, it's not rational, and it's about relationships. When a woman is with people, when she's doing things, when she's with children or family members, there's an energy which embraces all, aware of all, and it's connecting all. Whereas the masculine energy often is very one thing based, very goal orientated. I need to focus on this to acquire this, and we often have made fun of this female ability to multitask, but that in fact is the real quality, is to be able to deal with a myriad of relationships and to connect those relationships into a heart energy, into a instinctual compassionate consciousness. And I feel that is really a great quality that needs to come back into the world, a relational, compassionate energy that can bring things together, can bind them, not separate them. And I see it emerge in the world today. Even in the way we communicate, it's becoming more interrelational. And that's a feminine power. People talk about global communications and being connected across the world, and isn't a great thing we have the internet. What they don't realize is that the internet represents the feminine energy, relational interconnectedness. So even if we like it or not, the feminine energy is coming up. And we have to respect and embrace that instinctual, compassionate, relational quality. And that is very feminine.
When people asking me about Women for a Caring World movement, what it is, they tend to talk about it like a project, which for me is not exactly the description how I would call this what we are doing, which is a more organic journey in my understanding. I would like to ask you, Kingsley, what is Women for a Caring World for you as a man? How would you translate this and translate our mission?
Women for a Caring World project is a journey, as you said. It's a journey that's going to follow and hopefully assist, but really follow the rise of this feminine relational heart energy, because it's coming anyway. What the project perhaps can achieve is to direct the focus onto this rising energy, so we recognize it. Because if we recognize it, immediately we connect with it, and by connecting with it, we can participate. Because the feminine energy is a participatory consciousness. It's a participatory heart energy. So the project needs to bring this energy, this presence, to the attention of as many people in the world as possible. Because once our attention is there, the energy is there. And once we start to connect with the energy, we can make it known for others. And once we start to participate, it will just exponentially grow. So it's about awareness, because the project can't do anything which isn't already there. So for me, the project has to connect with what is already there, make people aware of it, and bring people in, participate. So then the project lives through the people, because the project cannot live on its own. On its own, it's just a shell. This project, like all real, genuine projects, works through the hearts of people. So this project has to be people-centered, people-based, and centered on the women, the participation of the women, but not at the exclusion of those men also that wish to participate.
And what do you think Women for a Caring World can give to the world? How can we, in fact, catalyze women around the world?
Hopefully it can create a platform for women's voices for the ideas, the wishes, the visions of the women in the world, to actually give it a platform, be put into the world, because the world is so noisy at the moment. It's so full of this unstable masculine energy which is still running around trying to keep a hold on things. But the women presence, the women voice need a platform. They need support, they need ambassadors, they need a place and a space where they can actually be able to say what's really in their hearts, and also for people to listen. And so Women for a Caring World can be a platform that allows people to listen to the voices of those whose time it has come to speak.
We have created this global survey, which aim is to find out what the women want in the world, how and what can they do in order to make change in their own local environment, and what are their barriers and what tools they need in order to step further in their life, and how can they have more impact in their local community. We had about 3 big tests around the world, having different women with different backgrounds from different countries. So we improved this questionnaire. Now it is ready to run out to reach more women in the world. What do you think, Kingsley? What is the purpose of this questionnaire in your understanding, and what can we achieve with this help?
As I see it, the global survey is a catalyst. It's a catalyst to first bring questions home to the women who answer the survey. Because for many women, perhaps they've not reflected enough on really their own values and what's missing from the world and where the world needs to be. So initially the survey can function as reigniting these questions within the women. And then, actually we may find that the survey will then empower women to actually start realizing that they should perhaps start to live their values more, and start to have the confidence to connect, to realize those values, and to try to put them stronger in their lives, and not be ashamed of those values or energies that are within them. And though the survey perhaps will show that the time is right, the time is now, for these visions to be manifested, for women to actually have the confidence to connect and share. So the survey may allow at the end to present that these are the visions, these are the voice of the women, but the end result isn't really what the survey is about. The survey is really a process, is a flow, which itself is a feminine energy, a process to allow women to reflect, be catalyzed, and then to have the confidence to go forward with their own knowing, to go forward with their own instinct. I think it will work as a catalytic process rather than the end goal, because the end goal is about statistics, which is again is a male energy. So the project can stand up and say, look, we have these statistics, X, Y, Z. But really, it's about the learning, the unfolding and the process of the survey, and what the women can learn about themselves from the survey and take it forward themselves. That is the real process, the real energy of the survey. Now is the time to reflect on how women can participate in the world, to start to change it towards a world where the feminine energy can be present, can make a change. And the survey is a first step in awakening that energy within each woman, and to awaken it to step out of the shadows, to step out of where it's been perhaps not fully manifested. So take the survey, be involved, participate, because the survey is like an alarm clock. It's a wake-up call. And once the energy is awakened, it's released. And once it's released, we cannot say what change, what that energy can do in the world. The survey is a first step. Take it and see where it leads you.
So I'm just joining Kingsley's call. Please, ladies, girls, go on our website www.womenforcaringworld.org and fill out the survey. let's start having your own questions and get in touch with us if you are inspired, if you would like to inspire others, and let's see how can we go forward together.